Hey, welcome to Cooking with Alpha. And today we're going to do something special with tiger nut. Tiger nut, or you also call atadwe. Yes, and so we're going to make pure atadwe milk at home. Atadwe milk, not the one which is um made with rice and jarred and sold on the street. No, this is fresh atadwe milk juice or drink. I'm going to make that, and then we're also going to make one with Atadwe-Ginger as well. So Atadwe usually comes in different shapes and sizes and colors as well. Don't be worried, all of them work. And usually, because it's a root stuff, yes, it's washed before, but when you get it in, you have to wash it as well. And so you can get the brown ones like this, and you can get the black ones. I usually prefer the very black or brownish ones, and usually I like the smaller ones than the very big ones, because when it's the smaller ones, especially the ones that as a train bisano, those ones which have shrunk are the ones which are matured, and those ones are more tasty than the very big full pieces. Yes. And so that's one trick about it. If you want to reduce your risk, just mix them up as well. So once you wash with the salt and you're done, you want to also wash the salt off it because you don't need the salt in there. So once you wash that off and it's clean enough, then we can proceed to blending it. So when it comes to the pure atadre milk, all you need is your atadre and your water, then you blend. Then that is virtually all. And so this is tiger nut milk ASAP. Yes, and this doesn't take long to do. The only thing about it is when you do, just be careful about the consumption period. Usually 2 to 3 days maximum you should consume, because as it stays in the fridge for long, it can ferment. And you can also do it for longer in your freezer as well. Yes, but these are the freezer. If you don't take care, you may get some lumps in there. So once your water is in, just blend it till it is very smooth. Yes, and see how foamy and how creamy this is. And so once you're done, you then want to proceed to sieving it. Usually I sieve it twice. Yes, I use stainless steel mesh to sieve first, and then I use a plastic mesh to sieve once I'm bottling it. And I like to keep them in the bottles or in the jars. If your blender is not very strong, don't stress yourself. Once you're done, put back the fiber in there and then blend it again. Yes, that's one thing you can also do. Save yourself that stress as well. If you're doing this for commercial purposes, you'd have to use a glove as well. But if you're doing it for yourself or just your indoor stuff, you can then go like I'm going in there as well. And you can make use of your spoon to also do the scooping to reduce the hand contact in there as well. But most important, whenever you're cooking, is about washing your hand. Yes, wash your hand with soap and water as much as possible when you're cooking. And so when you do this, you're going to get a very thick, fine, nice blend in there. And like I said, you can always re-blend it, because usually when you do the first blend, you may not get all the milk coming out of it. And so, yes, once you're done, you then have the fiber part separate from the juice part or the milk part. The fiber part, well, technically we can dry it and then use it for something else. Yes, maybe into our bread, into our pastries, into our snacks. We can incorporate it in there. And if you have pets, if you have chickens, they'll also be glad if you do them broya. And so if you have chicken and those other um small pets at home, birds or something, you can also feed the chaff to them once you're done. And so I keep them in the bottles. They are easier to work with. And so once you pour it into the bottle, then you can then lock it and then put it into your fridge. Consume within 2 3 days, or you can just freeze and take it out when you are ready. Some people tend to sweeten it up as well. Usually the ones you have on the traffic lights and things, Charlie, commercial purposes, sometimes they end up using more water and they end up using more sugar in there as well. But you can also do this on your own, and you can sweeten it with simple date, honey, or any sweetener of your choice as well. Now, Ghanaians like spicy, and so this is a spicy option. We're going to use a tiger nut, we're going to use ginger, we're going to use sugar cane to sweeten it up. Yes, so we're going to pour the tiger nut in. You're going to cut your ginger and then also add it in. But before your ginger goes in, your sugar cane is also going to go in. This was already washed and cut as well. So once you're done, then you're going to cut the ginger and add it to it. If you want to see how I clean and cut my sugar cane, you can check it out on my channel as well. You can also check out how I do my sugar cane juice using the blender as well. Because if you already have the sugarcane juice, you don't have to cut the sugarcane into it like this. You can just use the juice to blend this, and that gives you a more sweeter, finer taste. And it's way healthier using the fresh sugarcane as compared to using sugar by itself. If you're a fan of dates, you can also use dates. I think these days a lot of people use dates to sweeten their tiger nuts um, meal, meals or juices, drinks, and stuff. Yes, you can also use stevia or any sweetener of your choice. Now, when you then epibiano, now I am. So as you're done, you're then going to add in your water and then you go and do the blend. So, like I was saying, you can decide to just use sugarcane juice if you've already used your sugarcane, so you don't have to use water once you're done. And all you then need to do now is to blend this until it is very, very, very smooth. If your blender is not too strong, do this in smaller batches and use enough water. That's the most important thing in there. And like I said, when you're picking your tiger nuts, go for the ones which look like they are shrinking. Yes, and be checking. Make sure you buy from a good source so that you don't get very spoiled ones. And do well to pick out the spoiled ones too before you work. And sometimes the fiber is going to get stuck into your blade of your blender. That's okay. Use water to wash it, and then you can juice out the water, the liquid part from it. And like I said, the chaff, you can try to dry it and then use it in your biscuits, cookies, bread, and all those ones. Or you can try to feed it to your pets as well. Yes. So once you have the water in like this, I'm going to proceed to storing it, and you can do it in your jars, in your glass, in your bottles. Yes, you just need to do the sieving again to make sure that it is as smooth as possible. You know, these days people do Atadwe milk, the pure fresh ones like this, and they sell in the street. The only thing is that because of sometimes the cost that goes in, so they tend to just adulterate it, add so much sugar and so much water to it. And sometimes even the color changes. You realize that the handling does not go too well. And so this one, because there's sugar cane in, which is fresh, I recommend you freeze it. If not, we consume within a day or two once you keep it in the freezer. And if it's yours, your own consumption, you can squeeze out all the water from the fiber part as well to get that extra ones. And if you're doing commercial production, you'd have to use your gloves in there as well. But most importantly, once you're in the kitchen, make sure that you wash your hands as much as possible with soap and water. And you can store this in the fridge, like I said, 2 3 days, consume, or you freeze, and then when you're ready, you take it out and use. So till I see you in the next food video, do live life to the fullest, be joyous, be merry. Don't forget to subscribe. Lots of love for my team and I. Mwah.